Okay, in this video it's Premier League predictions and fixtures for match week 3. Now if you want to play along in the comments below, you can copy and paste my fixtures from the show notes, pop them into the comments and put your scores by them. It's 2 points for a correct result, so if you get the win, draw or loss correct, 2 points. And if you manage to correct the right score, it's 5 points. And we'll look back each week and see who's done the best. We'll have a look back at match week 2 at my disastrous predictions. Now, if you want to keep up to date with videos like this, we also do match analysis, player profiles, also a lot in the transfer window, transfer news on the top Premier League clubs. Then click the red subscribe button below. Click the bell notification and you'll be kept up to date with all future uploads I do. So let's just have a look back at last week and see how disastrously I did. You'll see there the scores I predicted are the first column in blue. Actual results are in green, and then the points I got in red on the final column. I got 3 results correct: the Arsenal Burnley, Norwich Newcastle, Southampton Liverpool. So I got 2 points for each. Didn't get the correct scores. And my piece de resistance this week was the Man City Tottenham 2-2 draw, which I got 5 points for. So my total points for the week was 11. Quick shout out to Jaden Christo, who matched me with 11 points. But 2 stars of the week. First one in second place was Will L, who got 6 correct results, of which 2 had the correct score, so he got 18 points. And in first place this week was Joshua Wiggin. Terrific result there. He got 7 correct results out of 10. 3 of which of those 7 were the correct score. So Joshua Wiggin wins it for this week. So moving swiftly on, seeing as I was nowhere near the best last week, onto match week 3, see if I can do any better. So we'll start off with Aston Villa Everton. It's a Friday evening kickoff. It's 8 o'clock, Sky Sports. Now, Aston Villa have lost away to Spurs. They've lost home to Bournemouth. Everton, they drew away at Crystal Palace and they won home to Watford. I think this one's got a 1-1 draw written all over it. I don't see too many goals in this one. I think Aston Villa will have settled a bit after 2 matches, and I expect them to get something out of it. So Aston Villa 1, Everton 1, my first prediction. Moving on to the next game, which is Norwich versus Chelsea. It's a Saturday 12:30 kickoff. This match is available on BT Sport. Now, Norwich lost 4-1 away to Liverpool. Pretty open play they played there and got punished for it. And then they got a 3-1 home win against Newcastle, who've had a disastrous start. Now, Chelsea, they lost 4-0 away to Man United. Thought they were a little bit unlucky in that one, and they got a home 1-1 draw with Leicester. Fairly even game there with Leicester. I worry where Chelsea's goals are going to come from this year. I really do. I think with Eden Hazard gone, I think that's going to have a big dent in their goal scoring capacity. Norwich look to be creating chances, and the style of play they're playing, they will do. At home, I think they're going to score goals. So I'm going to go for a Norwich 2-1 win against Chelsea. Norwich 2, Chelsea 1. On to the next match now, Brighton versus Southampton. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Now, Brighton have had a reasonable start. They got a 3-0 away win to Watford and a 1-1 home draw with West Ham. New manager there's had a good start. He'll be happy after Brighton had a disastrous end of season last year, so they've had a good start. Southampton, not so good for them. They've lost 3-0 away to Burnley and lost 2-1 home to Liverpool, with Danny Ings grabbing the goal there. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brighton win. I think the home advantage, I think they're on a roll with their new manager. So I'm going to go for Brighton 2, Southampton 1. Now on to the next match, Man United versus Crystal Palace. This is a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. Crystal Palace, they've had a 0-0 home draw against Everton, and they lost 1-0 away to Sheffield United, who I think are going to make things difficult for people going to Sheffield this year. Man United beat Chelsea 4-0 at home. Wan-Bissaka's up against his old club in this one, and I watched him last night in the game against Wolves, and you know, he looks a very good defender. He's still to work out his attacking play, I think, a little bit better. Didn't have much joy going forward against Wolves, but looks a very good defender. I think Man United will be too strong for them, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 Man United win. So Man United 2, Crystal Palace 0. Okay, on to the next match, Sheffield United versus Leicester, and that's a Saturday at 3 p.m. kick-off. Now, Sheffield United got a 1-1 draw away at Bournemouth and a 1-0 home win to Crystal Palace, and like I said, I think they're going to be tough to beat at home. Leicester have had 2 draws, 0-0 at Wolves, 1-1 against Chelsea. Interestingly enough, Jamie Vardy, his first game he had 18 touches the whole game. Second game he had 16 touches, and he's only had 1 shot in 2 games. So haven't really seen Leicester play in a full 90 minutes, but they don't obviously look to be playing to Jamie Vardy's strengths at the moment, and I think they do if they want to be scoring goals. I think this one's going to have a 1-1 draw. I think Sheffield United will be hard to beat, but I think Leicester do have some quality in the side, so I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Sheffield United 1, Leicester 1, and Sheffield United will make Leicester work for that draw. Okay, on to the next match, and that is Watford V West Ham. It's a Saturday 3 p.m. kick-off. Bit of a sorry state of affairs for both teams. They've only scored 1 goal between them in the 4 matches they've been involved in, both teams. West Ham have conceded 6. Probably a little bit unfair to them because one of those was the 5-0 Man City. Watford have conceded 4. It looks like a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 ball draw on this one. So Watford 1, West Ham 1. On to the next match, Liverpool versus Arsenal. I think this is the game of the weekend. It's a Saturday 5:30 early evening kickoff. It's going to be on Sky Sports if you want to watch that. These 2 teams are sitting first and second in the league currently. Liverpool, I think, are going to have another strong season. Arsenal have made lots of signings and they've got a terrific front lineup. I mean, obviously they've got Lacazette, Aubameyang. They've also brought Nicolas Pepe into the side. And although I didn't see the full game, I understand that Dani Ceballos was absolutely superb in midfield for Arsenal. So it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. 2 terrific forward lines, and I think there's going to be goals in it. I'm going to give this one a home advantage to Liverpool. I think there will be goals in it. I think Liverpool are just defensively stronger. I think Arsenal defensively are always vulnerable. And I'm going to give it a Liverpool 2-1 win. So Liverpool 2, Arsenal 1. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Bournemouth V Man City. This one's on Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff. It's available on Sky Sports to watch. Bournemouth, they've had a good start to the season. They got a draw at Sheffield United and they got a win away to Aston Villa. But it has to be said, they're probably 2 of the weaker teams in the Premiership. No disrespect to them. Man City obviously got that 5-0 win away at West Ham and the draw at home to Tottenham, and they feel they should have won that one. The disallowed goal at the end with VAR and all the controversy with that. But at the end of the day, rules are rules, same for both teams. But I think they will feel that they dropped 2 points there with the draw to Tottenham. I can't see Man City slipping up on this one. I think they're just going to have too much quality for Bournemouth. I just think they've got a bench that would go straight into any Premiership team. So if things aren't working for them, they've got people on the bench that can come on and mix things up for them. So I'm going to go for a fairly convincing away win to Man City. And I'm going to go for 2-0 to Man City. And who knows, Bournemouth might upset the apple cart, but I can't see them doing it on this one. Okay, on to the next match, and that's Spurs Tottenham V Newcastle. This one is on Sunday. It's a 4:30 kickoff. It's available on Sky Sports. Now, Newcastle, it's not a happy ship in the northeast at the moment. They've got the new manager Steve Bruce, and there was a lot of complaints about his appointment. They're obviously not happy with Mike Ashley, and at the moment there's not a lot of smiles going on in the northeast with Newcastle. They've had 2 losses. They lost at home to Arsenal. Watched that game. A little bit unfortunate at times because they did have their chances, but I think Arsenal were the better team, and they lost away to Norwich, and that was a game I think they felt they could have picked something up from. Tottenham have had a better start. They got the 3-1 win at home to Aston Villa. There took a bit of time coming. Then that great away draw at Man City. I think 2-2. They were under the cosh for most of the game, but they managed to grind out a 2-2 draw. And I think any team going to Man City, your Liverpools, your Man Uniteds, your Chelsea, I think anybody going to Man City would be happy with a 2-2 draw. So they're sat on 4 points and nicely positioned. I think Tottenham should have too much for Newcastle. I think Steve Bruce has got an awful lot of work ahead this season to try and get something out of that Newcastle team, and I can see a convincing win for Tottenham. I think it's going to be a 2-0 Tottenham win. Be interesting to see their lineup on this one, whether they go more aggressively with an attacking formation. But I'm going to go 2-0 Tottenham, and Newcastle probably put them, I would think, bottom of the league at that point. Sorry, Newcastle. Next match is on to Wolves v Burnley. It's a Sunday 4:30 kickoff. This one's not on Sky Sports. It's the Tottenham Newcastle match that's on at the same time. Wolves, I watched them against Man United. Watched the whole game. Looked a little bit poor in the first half. Didn't really put Man United under pressure. They sat back. They defended well, very well organised. At times they dropped to playing 5 across the back and kept very narrow gaps between their defensive line, and Man United couldn't get through. Burnley, they're always going to pick up points, I feel, with Sean Dyche. They had that 3-0 win at the start of the season. I'm going to put this one down for a 1-1 draw. I think Wolves will get something out of the game. I think Burnley will give them a good run for the money, and I think Burnley will be a little bit more physical than Man United. Probably play maybe a little bit more long ball than Man United will, and I'm going for a 1-1 draw. So that wraps up all my predictions for week 3. Like I say, if you want to, in the comments below, join along. 2 points if you get the correct win, draw or loss. 5 points if you get the correct score as well. Like I say, you can copy and paste the fixtures from the show notes below, put them in your comments, and then just put the score by, and then I'll run through them before next week's video on this. Thanks once again for watching. If you like the videos, please give it a like, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, click the red subscribe button below. Thanks for watching.